What's up, guys? It's your boy madao. I got another Wi-Fi battle for you today, and this time it's in the OU tier. It's against a guy by the name of xxmeteorxx. I'm pretty sure there are 3 X's, or maybe 2 X's. There's a certain amount of X's on both sides, basically. He has a lot of subs, but if you don't already know him, please go check him out. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. Once again, go check him out. Anyway, let's talk about the battle. I'm gonna get off of my High Dragon, go straight for a Draco Meteor. Now, my High Dragon happens to be Choice Scarf, and most people don't expect it to be Choice Scarf, considering I do run a Genesect and a Terrakion on my team, which are much better Choice Scarf users than Hydreigon. So it's easy. So I use Hydreigon as my lead, really, because it's easy to get a nice quick kill on my opponent, making the score 6-5 pretty early on in the game. Unfortunately for me, that plan kind of failed this time, considering the Rotom Wash was able to live up a very small amount of HP. But anyway, he's going to end up setting in the Scizor against my Hydreigon. I was going to go into my Tentacruel, knowing I could take a U-turn, no problem. But he ends up going for the Swords Dance, which was a better play on his part, considering I had nothing that wanted to immediately scare it out. And on top of that, I was locked into Draco, which he naturally resists, and I probably would have not knocked it out. So anyway, I go for the Skull, hoping I can get the burn. Unfortunately, I don't, and he is able to land a U-turn on me, which does a lot more damage than I wish it would have. But he ends up sending out Rotom Wash, just because he can hit me with a nice Volt Switch or a Thunderbolt. But I don't want to risk the Thunderbolt, so I'm going to switch out, go into my or my Deoxys Defense, knowing I could take any hit he wants to give me, as he ends up going for the Volt Switch, just trying to keep his offensive momentum. Anyway, at this point, I'm thinking this is pretty good time to set up my spikes, but then he sends out his Latias, and I'm afraid of the Calm Mind, so I'm not going to want to stay in on this thing. Instead, I'm going to want to switch out, go out into my Carl or my Whimsicott, that way I can encore him into the Calm Mind. Fortunately for me, I predict completely wrong, as he ends up being a Choice Spec Latias and is able to hit my Whimsicott with the Draco Meteor and cleanly knock it out really early on in the game, and that kind of really hurt me a lot, because you will see later on in the game I could have used Whimsicott a little bit later in the game. But anyway, I'm setting out Genesect, knowing I can hit this thing with an Ice Beam and get some nice damage out on it. But I go for a Rock Polish, knowing he's going to want to switch. And unfortunately for me, I completely forgot he is packing the Infernape. And in all honesty, if I knew he was packing the Infernape, I would have called the switch and went straight for the Thunderbolt, not wanting to risk really, just because I could have gotten the paralyzation on the Infernape or whatever. But anyway, I switch out into my Tentacruel now, just to take the incoming Fire Blast with the Flare Blitz. And luckily for me, it is the Flare Blitz, because not only will this Infernape be taking recoil damage from the Life Orb, but will also be taking recoil damage from the Flare Blitz. So chip damage is always nice on this thing. But anyway, I'm going to go for the T-Spikes, knowing that he's not going to want to stay in, as he ends up sending in his Virizion. Now, I was thinking this Virizion was going to be the Swords Dance set, considering he already has a pretty nice special attacker in the form of Choice Spec Latias. However, I was completely wrong, and he ends up being the Calm Mind set, which really sucks, because Calm Mind Virizion is a huge problem for this team I have, and without my T-Spikes up, I can't stall it out. And since it came in before the T-Spikes, I'm in this huge predicament, and I'm going to send out my knowing I could take the hits from this Virizion and hit it with Nightshades. Unfortunately, he goes for the Giga Drain, which also means he'll be regaining health at the same time. It doesn't do too much damage, which is perfectly fine, so that means my Nightshade will be able to still make sure it's not at full health. That way I can send in my Hydreigon to Fire Blast this thing and hopefully KO it. But anyway, he's going to keep on going for the Calm Mind, like I said, I'm just going to keep on going for the Nightshade, just hoping I can get it to a low enough amount of HP to the point where my Hydreigon can come in and just Fire Blast this thing. Sorry for the yawn, guys, it's pretty late right now, and I'm pretty tired. I don't know if y'all can tell that, but I'm actually really tired. But anyway, this is when I was talking about earlier on in the game, where I could have used my Whimsicott. I could have came in here, encored it, switched out into my switched out into my Deoxys Defense and just Nightshaded, then go back into Whimsicott to encore it again. But unfortunately, I'm not able to do that. Anyway, he goes for the Giga Drain, ends up getting a crit, which allows him to gain a lot more health than I wished, as I'm just going to go for the Nightshade yet again, once again, just trying to get as much damage on this thing as possible, because really, a Calm Mind Verzion goes through my team completely, especially since I can't lead seed it with Whimsicott, and it's not poisoned from the T-Spikes. But anyway, he's going to go for the Giga Drain, knocking out Madiox's defense. However, Madiox's defense did the job I needed him to do as far as the Verzion was concerned. He made sure the Verzion wasn't at full health and made sure that I had some form of damage on it, which was all I could really hope for in this moment. But I'm going to send out my High Choice Scarf Hydreigon now, hoping that this Fire Blast gets a crit. Unfortunately for me, it does not, and it lowers the Verzion's health to slightly above half health. Unfortunately, my Hydreigon is not going to be able to live in HP Ice at that range, so Hydreigon will go down. And now I happen to carry Flamethrower on my Genesect, so I'm going to send in Genesect, hoping that I get a crit and I'm able to knock it out. Unfortunately for me, I did not get the crit this turn, which really sucks, and I don't even get the burn, which I was kind of hoping for some nice chip damage with the burn. But he ends up missing the Focus Splash, which was the biggest. It was the biggest luck I got all game. Well, other than this turn, because I do happen to land a crit with the Flamethrower right now and knock out that Virizion. So now that the Virizion's gone, I'm not exactly sitting pretty, because I did lose my Choice Scarfer and my main special defensive ball. And then he is able to get a nice free switch out to his Infernape, which I don't even want to mess with, especially since I don't have a Rock Polish up. So I'm going to switch out, go out into my Tentacruel, even though my Tentacruel can't take 2 Flare Blitz at this point. At the same time, I'm going to need my Genesect and my Terrakion in order to win this game. So anyway, he's going to be able to knock out my Tentacruel in one more Flare Blitz hit or close combat hit, as he does now. And basically Tentacruel goes down, which is perfectly fine by me, especially since I was able to somewhat Toxic Stall this Infernape with recoil damage from the Life Orb and Flare Blitz, and then obviously the poison damage. But now I'm going to send in my Max now on my Terrakion, making him think I'm Choice Scarfed, even though I'm really not. And he ends up going for the Mach Punch. I'm able to survive that for obvious reasons. It's a Mach Punch. It's not going to be able to knock out a Terrakion that hasn't used close combat. And I'm just going to go straight for the close combat, knocking out that Infernape, which is very nice. But he still has that Latios and other big threats such as his Scizor still here. Now, I did predict the Bullet Punch, but I didn't want him going for the U-turn to getting a free switch out into really anything that could take out my Genesect, because at this point in the game, Genesect is more important. So I'm gonna go on to. So I really just wanted that free switch out to Genesect. Now my special attack did get raised, and in order for me to win this game, since Genesect is my last Pokemon, I'm gonna need to set up the Rock Polish. Now, looking at how much damage that Bullet Punch did, if I get hit by another Bullet Punch, I should be able to manage 4 more hits. However, unfortunately, I'm guessing that was min damage, because this one does slightly more, and which I'm guessing is max damage, which means I'm only actually able to land 3 more hits thanks to my Life Orb, which really sucks. But luckily for me, I'm able to knock out that Scizor, and he has 3 Pokemon left. So as you can tell, I've lost this game already. But it was still pretty close thanks to the fact that Genesect is a monster. And I'm able to take out this Roto Wash, and then next he's going to send in either his Latios or Golurk. He ends up choosing Golurk. Either one didn't matter, because either one would have went down to an Ice Beam, considering the Latios wasn't a defensive one, but more of an offensive one. So Golurk goes down to the Ice Beam, and I lose the game. It's a pretty good match, if I do say so myself. If you're watching this, xxmeteorxx, if you ever want to get another battle, just hit me up on YouTube or Smoking, it's whatever. Good game, and I'm RG Madao, so I'll see y'all later.